Hey everyone, Mike Wolf here. Thanks for tuning in. And today I want to talk about how to get started in real estate. And what we're going to do is cover basically getting started in real estate, whether it be in Canada, the US, or anywhere in the world. Whenever you start up, whenever you decide, hey, I want to be a real estate investor, really what you're doing, if you're doing it properly, is you're starting up a business. You're trying to create something. And so before you can get started, you kind of have to have a little bit of a game plan and an idea of what it is you're trying to create. Because when somebody says they're a real estate investor, that's a very vague thing. That can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I mean, technically we're all real estate investors. If you own a principal residence, well, you invested in real estate. Doesn't necessarily make you what most people would call an expert investor. But in any case, the people that I deal with on a regular basis are typically people that want to do this for a living. They want to maybe replace all or part of their income that they get from their job by having homes give them either passive income or maybe they're flipping homes. There's a lot of different ways to do it. So what you need to do is figure out what it is you're trying to achieve first. So I get so many people that want me to mentor them, but they don't really have a plan as to what it is or why they're doing it. They just think, oh, well, real estate, everybody knows real estate's a good thing to invest in, so I want to do it too. Well, that's a good enough reason if that's what gets you started, but really you have to look a lot deeper than that. And you have to figure out your game plan and how you're going to achieve your goals and get from A to B. So my job is to get you from wherever you're at now to wherever it is you desire to be. A lot of people, it's all about the lifestyle. Real estate's given me a great lifestyle, allows me to travel. Been all over the world several times, both for pleasure and for pursuing my career in real estate. Real estate's allowed me to not have a real job for the last 22 years. So I can show you how to get there too, but first I need to know what it is you're trying to achieve, and then and only then can we kind of come up with a blueprint. And these are all the steps you have to take to get you from where you're at now to where it is you're trying to get yourself to. So one of the things that I do with my students before we even get started is, first of all, we figure out where you're at now. And what I mean by where you're at now is we need to look at the resources that you have. Now, before I go into much more detail, I just want to also say that real estate is more or less, it's not a solitary sport. This is a team sport where it's very hard to get to where you want to be unless you have very small goals on your own. It's very, very difficult to do that. So a lot of stuff that I do is through the use of my power teams, also joint ventures, and basically using my money, using other people's money, and leveraging not only what I've got, but what other people have. And the beauty of real estate is you can create a lot of win-wins that way. So when we talk about that, we're not talking about, oh, well, you take advantage of somebody to get what you want. It's more like you help them and they help you, and together you create something. And so real estate is a great way to achieve your goals, and at the same time create win-win situations for everybody involved. And so sometimes it's not just you and let's say a business partner that are doing things together to get to a common goal, but you're also helping people that are having problems, having issues. So every time a house goes for sale, there's a story behind that. Somebody doesn't just randomly wake up in the morning and say, oh, I'm going to put this house for sale. There's a reason for it. Either they need a bigger house, they need a smaller house, they want to get maybe tone down their number of properties, they want to have less on their plate, or they want to get more properties. Whatever it is that they want to do, everything that you do should be a win-win situation. And so at the end of the day, when I go into things such as negotiation, I teach people how to do sales and negotiation. When I teach you that, my goal isn't to teach you how to get some little old lady to sell you her house for way, way below market value because she doesn't know the value. That's not what I'm going to teach you how to do. To me, a successful negotiation is where you're happy with the end result, the other person's happy with the end result, and you want to do business together again and again and again to both get ahead. And so that's what I like to teach you here, is how to get ahead using both what you've got for resources and also what people in your network and what you have available to you within your network. Because once again, you can help each other to grow a lot faster together as opposed to two separate people trying to achieve something separately. So some of the things I want to talk about when we talk about resources is, what do you bring to the table and what do people within your network bring to the table? So obviously a big one is liquid cash. The availability of money will determine what you can and can't buy. So if you come to me and you have $10 million sitting in your bank account, well, that's going to make things a whole lot easier than if you come to me and say, hey, I don't have a dime to my name, but I've got a lot of spare time. So it's not to say you can't do deals. There are ways to do deals with none of your own money. I still do it to this day. Sometimes I use my own money, sometimes I use other people's money. There's ways to structure those kind of deals, but we need to know what you're bringing to the table in advance before we can find the right sort of structure for you. So for instance, if you didn't have a lot of money, we might be looking at things like sandwich leases where you don't actually own a property, but you control a property. Or else there's things like assignments where you're putting a property under contract, you don't actually own it, but you're selling it before you actually have to close on it. So there's a whole number of different ways to do deals, but your resources are going to determine what sort of deals you can do. So one of the things we need to ask is how much liquid cash do you have available? Also, not just liquid cash, but what cash could you get from liquidating something else? Maybe you have a whole bunch of money in stocks, and those stocks aren't doing anything for you, or mutual funds, or GICs, whatever it is. How much cash could you come up with? If your answer to this is zero, well, it doesn't mean, oh, well, you can't do real estate. Very far from it, because now we can go into your network. And we have these other different things you might bring to the table. Maybe you have a whole bunch of spare time because you got fired from your job, you got the company downsized, whatever it is. Maybe you have a whole lot of spare time on your hands where you can do the research, or you can take time to get the education to learn how to do this stuff. Well, you might run into somebody who's a doctor, with a lot of cash sitting in his bank account doing nothing for him. And you could create a win-win, because now it's like, hey, you've got the time to do the research, learn how to do the deals, build the team, do all the work. And this doctor, he loves medicine. That's his passion. He doesn't want to quit being a doctor and be a full-time real estate investor, but he wants to do something better with his money. So now you can leverage what you're bringing to the table, which is time and hopefully expertise. And they don't have those items, but they've got the cash. So once again, now you're actually using somebody else's money to make yourself money, but also to make them money. So there's no harm in that. So the first thing we look at is availability of cash. Now, if you don't have a lot of cash, but you have really good credit, maybe you can get financing. It doesn't, once again, have to be your money. And these days, interest rates are at record lows. So if you have the ability to get a line of credit from a bank or mortgaging, stuff like that, well, that's great. But let's say you had no cash and you had really poor credit. Well, once again, you're going to look to your network and form joint ventures with other people that can help you to get to launch, because otherwise with any other type of investment it'd be very difficult to do. You're not going to find a whole lot of people that are going to give you money to buy gold, because there's not probably a lot of, for them, there's not a lot of expertise involved. They can go buy the gold themselves. But with real estate, it's very specialized, and there's a whole lot of strategies that you can learn. And when you become an expert at those strategies, you can find other people that will invest in you because of your expertise and what you're bringing to the table. So once again, if you can get financing, great. If you have cash and financing, you're off to a really good start. But you don't necessarily have to have that. But these are things that I would need to know before I start mentoring you, because I need to know where, when I say we'll get you from A to B, I need to know what your A looks like right now. And I also need to know what your B looks like. But I need to know what our starting point is and what tools we have. It's kind of like if you open up a garage and you're a mechanic. Well, if you have the tools to do an oil change, well, that gives you one source of revenue. If you can do a tune-up, that's another source of revenue. If you have the tools where you can do auto body, well, that's a whole other source of revenue. So I need to know what tools we have to work with before we get started, because if you don't have the proper tools to do a certain strategy, there's no point learning that right off the bat. I want to start you off on the right foot, where we're maximizing your time and making you money right from the start, and we're going in the right direction to get you to B. And as time goes on, you're going to make money, you're going to fix your credit, and eventually you're going to be able to bring more to the table as time goes on. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. So a really big thing that a lot of people don't take into consideration is you might have a lot of cash, you might have really good credit, but no time. So other times, maybe you need somebody else to help you to take care of things you don't have time to do. And so I have several assistants that help me to take care of a lot of the administrative things. I may take anything that I don't like doing and take it off my plate and give that for other people to do. I don't have time to deal with all the day-to-day little things that come up. I want to deal with the big things, and I want to see the big picture, and I want to do the stuff that I find fun. And if you're doing the stuff that you find fun, you're never going to get sick of being a real estate investor, because at the end of the day, every day you wake up and you look at your to-do list, it's all these fun things. If I had to look at my to-do list and it was like, oh, paperwork on this property and paperwork on that and pay this bill, and I'm only doing the things that I enjoy doing. So I love to build teams. I love to go look at I still love to go look at real estate, analyze deals. I love to meet people and network, and I love to teach, which is why I'm doing this video, because I love teaching. So I'm doing the parts of the job that I enjoy, but I'm taking all stuff I don't like and taking it off my plate because I don't have enough time to deal with those. So I suggest you do the same thing. Now, if you have a lot of time and not some of these other things, then you might do some of the things that other people don't like to do, but that's a way for you to build up some liquid cash and build up your ability to qualify for financing. So, basically you need to figure out how much time do you have to put into this new business of yours. And if you don't have that time, go to your network. We got to find other people within your network that can make up for your lack of time. If you hire 10 people, each working 8 hours a day, well, now you've got 80 hours. You can only work yourself even if you never slept. You can only work 24 hours. Now you're leveraging other people's time to grow bigger faster. So these are things that you may not need right off the bat. If you're starting off, it's a curve. You're going to start off fairly slow. As time goes on, it's going to speed up, and it's going to the velocity is going to get faster and faster. You're going to need more people to help you to get where you want to be. So the other thing is obviously extremely important is expertise. And you don't have to be an expert at anything because you can always go to your network and find the right person to help you if you have some of these other things. If you have a lot of money, I guarantee you that you'll find somebody that will want to leverage your money. They'll bring what they have, their education to the table to help you use your money to make themselves money too. So you can be on either side of this equation. I'm not saying it's better to be here or here. The important thing is to know that you need certain tools to get the job done. And anything that you're lacking, it's important that right off the bat, we know, hey, this is what we need to find. We need to bring this into the company before we can progress. We have to have somebody who's an expert at this topic, and that's my job as your mentor, is to shorten that learning curve, and so you don't have to, spend months and months or years trying to learn, each of these different topics. I'm here to help you with the stuff based on the information I have about you to get you from A to B as quickly as possible without making the mistakes. Because sure, you can do trial and error and random things and learn as you go. But those mistakes are costly, both in terms of money and time. You're going to lose a lot of time trying to randomly put pieces to the puzzle together. So I'll give you an example. If you had a Rubik's Cube, and I don't know how to solve those things, they drive me crazy, but if I wanted to learn how to do it, if that was really important to me, I would hire somebody to show me how to do it and teach me the strat, not just do it for me, but actually show me how they did it. Once I know how to do it once, doing it the second time is even faster, third time even faster yet. So I want to basically be the guy that shows you how to do the Rubik's Cube, how to put these pieces of the puzzle together, how to take your resources, your team's resources, put it all together and show you how to do it so that each time you're going to get better and better at it. Your learning curve is going to be exponential as opposed to some kind of random path where you're all over the place and you try something and you fail and then you get all turned off in real estate. You don't want to do it again. You just have this negative connotation. So I want to keep you, positive. I want to give you, make you accountable, also to give you the proper information so that you're not going to make these costly mistakes. You're going to avoid them in the first place so that everything's positive. You're getting positive reinforcement at every step. Every time you do a piece to this puzzle, you're closer to getting from A to B. So sometimes if you don't know what you're doing, your A to B is going to look like a roller coaster ride. You're going to start off here, you're going to make a step towards your goal, but then you're going to screw up and you get it further down. You're going to be further than when you even started. Maybe you lost money, and now you have less money than when you started. So every transaction that you do is going to get you closer, if you're doing it properly, it's supposed to get you closer to your goal. So that's what I'm here for. And I'm also here to help you with other things as well, lifestyle, happiness. I want you to be happy. It's much more important than just making money. Making money is great, and it's not really that difficult to make money in real estate. At the end of the day, it's actually quite simple once you have that roadmap. But you have to have a balance in your life, and so that's why I take a lot of stuff off my plate, give it to other people, so I have time to do the things that are important to me. So I want to teach you not just about real estate, I want to teach you about happiness, balance, lifestyle, you name it. I want to teach you all these things and make it as quick a transition as possible for you. So I hope this helps, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for tuning in.